We have to. At some point, you've got to believe something. And I've read the scientific papers on PubMed, and, you know, I mean, I've got to go with the information and trust that information. It's, you know, otherwise you may as well just, you know, just completely guess. Yeah. You've got to go with something, haven't you? So what I'm trying to do here is just strip everything to the basics and look at what, well, first of all, there is a Rothschild Pirbright patent that is out. Yeah. And this patent, as I've said before, is a bioweapon patent. It's about creating a coronavirus that they can create a vaccine from, that's made from human egg embryos, which is exactly what we've got. Now, the reason I know that that is the correct patent is because there's a massive operation, massive shill operation, COINTELPRO operation, by the likes of especially by David Martin, but by everybody, to distract you from that. Everyone has been, right from the very start, when I first saw that was the big thing. I thought to myself, that's the absolute bombshell that shows this whole thing is pre-planned, along with the 2015 COVID-19 patent Rothschilds got for testing. So they had the patent for the coronavirus and they had the patent for COVID-19 in 2015 for testing. Okay, they'll say that later got updated from coronavirus to COVID-19, or some of the patent got changed. I've looked into it in depth, but I sat on it quietly and thought, well, I can't say anything about this until a bit of time's gone by, you know, and I've assess the field. Because so what we know now, or what we know without any shadow of a doubt, is no one's mentioned that again for a whole year. It's no silence on the Pirbright patent. That is intentional. That's absolutely intentional. The fact that David Martin's never talked about it, all intentional. So that to me is the absolute smoking gun. It, like I said before, it's the only thing that David Martin should be talking about. So there's a bioweapon patent out from Rothschilds, the Pirbright Rothschild patent for a coronavirus. Now, what is a coronavirus? According to that patent, and I've studied it, it is nothing but the S protein, the S spike protein. You can put an S spike protein on a graphene backbone, and that's a virus. Now, you may think, well, what's he saying here? Well, first of all, why is there a Rothschild patent for a coronavirus if they can't make what they think are coronaviruses? Why? Answer me that. Yeah, is it some big bluff? If it's a big bluff, why does it go into like massive in-depth? Okay, so what I'm saying is that the actual patent itself reveals that the actual Rothschild Pirbright patent debunks virology. It debunks the virology that Judy Mikovits believes, because it's nothing to do with the viral package. It's nothing to do. That is an exosome. Andrew Kaufman's correct. That's an exosome. What they do is they just destroy a cell, yeah, and all the debris that comes off it, they say is a virus. It's a complete. But something does cause illness. Something causes illness, and Judy says herself what it is. It's the plasma cell membrane. In fact, they actually agree. At one point, they actually agree. They're just talking differently. Judy Mikovits will say, oh yeah, well the virus is the plasma cell membrane, you know, because the virus uses everything, uses all the host material. Actually, she's got it the wrong way round there. The virus literally is just the plasma cell membrane. It's the spike proteins, to be exact. It's the proteins attached to the plasma cell membranes. And Andrew Kaufman will go, well, there you go. I've just proved your point. Yeah? Okay, so this bit here. Sorry. Is this working? So this bit here, Judy actually moves to Andrew's position. Really interestingly, in a very sort of weird way, because she says the virus uses the whole host cell, and Andrew says, hold on a minute, you know, you just adding an assumption there, and he says the cell is not the virus. The plasma, she's talking about the plasma cell membrane, which has got the spike proteins attached to it. Both of them actually talk past the point to it. I'm the only one giving you the actual full picture here. So both of them, well, Judy's wrong, and Judy's just completely moves to Andrew's position. Look here, and Andrew points out that it's not the virus she's talking about now; it's the plasma cell membrane.
Particle is your cellular membrane. So the core design. Well,
that's your cell. That's how it's.
Well, that's what viruses do.
See what she's saying? She's saying that the viruses use your plasma cell membrane, and Andrew's going, no, well, that's your cell, and that's not a virus, it's your cell. So, yeah, so Andrew agrees with the scientific papers that the plasma, because that's what it says, graphene oxide causes plasma cell this is a crucial point. Crucial. Graphene oxide causes plasma cell membrane shedding. And Andrew Kaufman is admitting here that that is okay. He's accepting that's not a virus. He's not saying it's not the cause of illness, because according to the, if he's brave enough, like, to say what I'm saying, the scientific papers, if you then take another leap forward, say that is what causes the contagion or the illness. And that's what graphene oxide causes. I can't sit on this information. I've got to push it. Graphene oxide causes plasma membrane shedding. The scientific papers that clearly then say that causes a virus effect. That's what's happening in the whole country, in the whole world. If there's graphene oxide in there, it's causing plasma membrane shedding. The evidence is from the Rothschild patent, from the Malik study, from all the other papers I've read on PubMed, that the spike protein alone causes a illness. If you exfoliate it, if you breathe it out. The vaccine causes, okay, yeah, here it is again. They're both saying that it's a plasma membrane, which is what I said ages ago.
It can't be done. There is no virus that can be caused by it. It's nucleic acid. We clearly isolated and confirmed Luc Montanier's result. The virus particle is your cellular membrane. So the code design... So that's your cell. That's what viruses do. Retroviruses use the entire host machinery in order to make a particle. So that
every virus works that way.
No, not every virus works that way, but retroviruses do.
Oh, other viruses can reproduce on their own.
Not a retrovirus.
Okay, so, yeah. So, Judy, you would have to show us the mechanism in which you're claiming that the virus does all this, yeah? Because Andrew Kaufman has not been able to... And you've just also said that we clearly isolated it. Using the word clearly, when you then admit that it's attached to... It's just something that is coming out of a human cell, is not... is a misuse of the word clearly, isn't it? Yeah? Okay. He'll say it's an exosome. So basically, at one point, they're actually agreeing with each other, but they're on different. But yeah, what she's wrong and he's right. Yet he's a bit of a reductionist. Okay. The scientific papers and the Malik study tells us that that spike proteins and misfolding proteins cause illnesses in the body and cause disease. That's what the COVID-Rothschild patent is saying. It's all about the spike protein. You can attach that protein to it, like I said, a graphene backbone. Maybe that's what they're doing. Okay, so what I'm saying is the spike proteins form around your body, form around poison that goes into your body and creates a biomolecular corona around everything. So if you're poisoned by graphene and you look at it under a microscope, it's going to look like a coronavirus, because it's going to form a biomolecular corona around it. That protects the cells from cell damage. Yeah, but the way them proteins apparently interact with the cells, if they misfold or something, this is what causes illness. Now, graphene causes plasma cell membrane shedding, again, according to the scientific papers. So according to the scientific papers, the spike protein alone causes the illness. So all this sequencing of the RNA material inside the viral exosomal package, that's all debunked, as far as I'm concerned. There's no need to push back a layer, because we already know just the spike protein alone causes the illness, causes the disease. And again, that's backed up by the Rothschild Purbright patent, which is saying the same thing, and by the people involved in gain of function. When they were interviewed on TV, they sat there arrogantly sort of smirking to themselves, saying, oh yeah, really this is just all about sort of manipulating the spike protein. That is it. That is it. So virology, in a sense, is debunked. Everything Andrew Kaufman is saying is correct. It's an exosome. Yeah. However, both of them are stopping at that point. I'm going further. I'm saying what the evidence says, according to the scientific papers, and that's what the patent says. The spike protein does cause disease, but only in a vaccine, unless you add graphene. If you add graphene, because graphene is so sharp, it causes plasma cell membrane shedding, and other scientific papers on PubMed say that plasma cell membrane shedding causes a secondary virus effect, a secondary illness. Okay, so in other words, it's if you add graphene to an espro, it creates plasma membrane shedding, which is a sort of form of contagion, or a form of, you exfoliate it, you breathe it out. It's a poison. It's like a poison, so it's like an exchange of poison. That's what I believe the evidence points to. Yeah, so, yeah, here it is.
An AIDS patient?
And saliva of an AIDS patient and transmitted directly into humans.
Well, no. Well, we're talking about isolation experiment first, not transmission. So first you have to show it exists, right?
You have to grow it. You cannot grow a virus without a cell. Sorry,
can't you take it out of a sick person?
Yes.
You see, she's saying you can't. You have to grow a virus out of a cell. So, what is coming out of the cell? Is it really a virus, Judy, or is it just a cell excretion, an exosome?
So where did you do that?
In Fort Detrick in 1983, from the very people, Luc Fontanier, from the French-Canadian airline flight attendant, from the very sick AIDS patients, from dozens of them, and we did the same thing with HTLV from people with adult T-cell leukemia.
So you took the saliva or blood from sick people.
So it's like a trick, you know. She's convinced herself that she's taken these samples and that it's isolated, and but she's kind of got to wrap her head around the fact that. So this bit here, look.
Purified particles and then showed them under an electron microscope where you could see nothing but those particles that are identical to each other?
But the budding particle, clearly the
well,
budding.
If it's budding, then it's mixed with cells. It's not isolated.
But again, you can't, a retrovirus uses the entire.
Who are you saying?
But again, so she'll come back and argue, saying, well, you know, her imaginary. The way she is imagining this process to work, she's saying that the virus is using all of the host material, and it's going to use the plasma cell membrane as well too. And it's just fantasy. Of course, it only exists in her head. The actual evidence is they're destroying the cell, and the cell it's not budding, it's giving off cell accretions and exosomes. So the actual evidence of this is that parts of what we're seeing, the spike protein part, when it misfolds and stuff, that does cause illness or does cause disease. But the middle bit, which is what they all say is the virus, they say that the spike protein is just to attaches to the cell. That's the bit that they say causes the illness, and it doesn't cause the illness. The spike protein causes the illness when it misfolds. So that's what the Malik Institute have discovered, and what the patent says, and what other papers on PubMed that I've studied also say. So, you know, we're supposed to be reductionist, aren't we, and extrapolate in a logical and linear way. So why push it back a step further and say it's also the viral package, it's the RNA package, the stuff that they keep sequencing and doing genetic sequences of and stuff. But yeah, it's interesting. So Judy's wrong, but Andrew Kaufman's being a reductionist as well, in a sense, because, like I say, neither of them are absolutely right. I mean, he's just not saying what a virus is. I don't think he is anyway. But, they can't, everyone needs to look at the evidence, including the Malik study. And if you disagree with it, then debunk it and show us how you've debunked it. Show us how you've debunked it. If no one debunks it, then I've got to go with it. Yeah? I mean, if none of you scientists challenge it. I've got to go with the available evidence.
You can't isolate it? You can't isolate it from the study?
It's not the virus. We know, because
I see. So then you can't really show that it's real if you can't see it by itself. Because a lot of things...
Well, it is the virus particle.
Okay. I'm going to interrupt.
See what's important here?
Right here, right.
Doug is interrupting.
Okay, so you can tell from Judy's face. You can tell from Judy's face that she just wants to be. She doesn't want this argument. she just wants to accept the assumptions that she's been taught. But Andrew Kaufman does really want to go after her, and because he knows that he can't lose. Logically, she can't win because it's just what he's saying is just absolutely logical, and he needs to make her realise, or he's trying to make her realise that. She's it's just a belief system, really, unless she can actually prove it, which she can't.
Try to make this a good stream by saying, Andrew, I agree with you. Saying you're trying to end is where the...
But Judy says, I cannot find a publication that shows the picture of just a virus, and she just said it can't be done. So it's important, because if it can't be done, then there is no disease that can be caused by it.
So Judy's saying a virus grows in a human cell. Yeah? I mean,
In its nucleic acid, we clearly isolated and confirmed Luc Montanier's result. The virus particle is your cellular membrane.
Do you get that? Do you hear what she says there? So the virus particle is the plasma cell membrane. And what does graphene oxide do? It causes shedding of the plasma cell membrane. I mean, look, this is where they agree, because he's now going to say, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not a virus. The plasma cell membrane has got the spike proteins attached to it.
So the COVID-19...
That's your cell.
So he replies, that's your cell. That's not a virus, that's your cell. So this is the bit where they actually agree with each other, sort of, because she's moved to his position. She has actually moved to his position. Didn't you think this had all be planned? Remember the Olympics. Remember the predictive programming. They're telling you the whole script. Where does it come from? Where does it come from? It comes from the sky. It comes from the evil man in the sky who pumps it out. It's a bioweapon. Yeah? They're telling you that it's coming from the sky. It's coming from the Jesuit in the sky, with his magic wand, and the particles are airborne. They're not passed by. Yeah, there's Boris. And this guy here. Yeah, they're going after the kids. This is all happening, you see. This is all what they said. And what happens at the end? Like I keep telling you, they put you to sleep. They put you to sleep. That's exactly what they're doing. They're putting us to sleep. It's euthanasia. And these are robots, remember? They're all robots, all following a script. But the big bloke here with the wand, where does the virus come from? It comes from the sky. It comes from the chemtrails. Here. It's man-made. Well, Jesuit-made. Satan-made. And what does the guy from DARPA say? What does the guy from DARPA say? The whistleblower on November the 19th, 2019. He says it's gonna start raining. Get an umbrella. Yeah, they're telling you it's coming from the sky. That's where it came from. Bioweapon attack with graphene. And do you know what the final nail in the coffin is that proves that it was a graphene aerosol attack, apart from all this predictive programming telling us that that's what they're going to do? The symptoms, the mysterious symptom for coronavirus in the first wave when it first started, because that's what it started off at. After that, because self-perpetuated, because the graphene sheds membranes, plasma membranes, which cause a secondary virus effect. But initially, it was a graphene oxide attack, and the initial reports were what? A metallic taste in the mouth. Who's ever heard of that? The main symptom for graphene oxide is a metallic taste in the mouth. So here we go. This is the original patent, according to, well, this is the Pirbright patent from 2014, and it's about creating a novel coronavirus with, a coronavirus with a novel S protein spike. Yeah? This is the interesting bit, it's about creating a coronavirus that is easy to make an S protein human cell lining vaccine from. The problem previously, if you read this, so this is all about creating a virus so Big Pharma can make money by making a affordable, cheap vaccine. The problem before was they had to create this vaccine on embryonic eggs, and this was too expensive. What they needed to do is they needed a virus to conveniently manifest itself in such a way that they could make a vaccine that was made from human cell linings. Yeah, aborted human cell linings. Human cell linings. Okay, so that's what, funny enough, yeah, that's what, yeah. COVID vaccines and fetal cell lines. That's just what the COVID vaccines are made from. Okay, so yeah, so I knew about this patent right from ages ago, but I didn't know enough about this alleged coronavirus, COVID-19, to say for sure at the time whether or not I thought this was the actual patent for it. A year and a half or whatever's gone by now. I know a lot about it, and I know a lot about what they're saying, so I can look at this patent now and say, yeah, this is it. Okay, so what they're worried about in this patent is, this is a patent creating a coronavirus, and what they're worried about is the resulting vaccine. Yeah? Oh, it's mind-blowing. A fluid from each egg and pooling before purification. The lack of reliable supplies of high-quality eggs. The lack of reliable supplies of high-quality eggs results in limitations for Big Pharma and for money makers like Bill Gates in the amount of vaccine which may be produced, particularly in an emergency situation. Oh yeah. Oh God. So what they need to do, they're saying here, is we need to create a coronavirus that we can make a cheap vaccine for. Unbelievable. This patent actually should be a criminal offence. Just making this patent should be a criminal offence. I mean, no one's actually set the context of this patent before. I think this will be the first video that ever has, because the context is just mind-blowing. I mean, it's correct. Let's create a coronavirus so we can make a cheap vaccine for it, make lots of money. Very interesting. What I suggest is happening here, if this is indeed the correct patent for this man-made bioweapon, which is, by the way, not a virus, and they actually admit it. This is the interesting thing. Yeah, if you read this patent, the virus is... Yeah, this is the key line here, by the way, before I tell you. Yeah, the virus is the S protein spike. Yeah, there is no virus. It actually says in here that the virus is the S protein spike. Of course, that's what all the studies have proven. Yeah, they're being sold. You have to join some sort of microbiology secret society to learn the little secret here, that the RNA viral package is just an exosome. It actually says in here what it is. It's an exosome, and it's full of stuff that communicates with cells. It's full of good stuff, not horrible nasty stuff that creates illness. The only thing that creates illness is the protein spike, a big nasty horrible protein spike that goes and smashes into the cells. Lo and behold, yeah, causes damage to the cells. That's all it is. Yeah, and the replication is obviously exosomes from the damaged cells. So that's so even this patent, if you read it carefully, debunks virology and actually says, you know, virology, viruses, it actually calls viruses the proteins. I'll find you the actual specific lines in a minute. I've just gone past it. But the key bit that I just highlighted there here, the virus stock. Well, okay, so the extended cell tropism conferred on the virus by the substitution of all or part of the S2 subunits means that the virus stock for vaccine production can be produced by growing on cell lines rather than embryonic eggs or primary cells. Because if you read a back bit further, they're moaning for about 2 or 3 chapters that embryonic cells are just too expensive for the poor old vaccine companies to make a vaccine from. They need a virus that they can make a vaccine from cell lines because it's nice and cheap, and it's human cell lines, so it pleases to say to this. Yeah, people like Bill Gates. Okay, so that's what's going on here. This is a patent for vaccine production. It's about making a coronavirus to produce the vaccine. Yeah, a bit like, you know, the antivirus companies putting out viruses only to sell the solution. I'm talking about software here. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The present invention relates to a coronavirus spike protein, S protein. Yeah, in particular an IBV S protein, which, when used to produce a virus. Oh, so the S protein is used to produce a virus. Incredible. Incredible. It's actually specific. It's actually telling you exactly what I've been telling you for the last few weeks or months. The S protein is the virus. In particular, an IBV S protein, which, when used to produce a virus. Okay, so that is the virus. The virus is an S protein, as I've been saying, and they basically tell you here. So forget all this RNA. You know, forget all this. It's an exosome. Okay, so here it is, the European Patent Specification. This is the Pirbright Institute, 2016, date of publication. Cellular tropism and cell-to-cell fusion properties of the infectious bronchitis virus spike glycoprotein. The present invention relates to a coronavirus spike protein, S protein, in particular an IBV S protein, which, when used to produce a virus. Yeah. So remember what we're saying here. Okay, so they attach a pseudo they've learnt, this is not one scientific study, this is many, and people should be repeating this like from the rooftops. They've learnt that an S protein attached to a pseudovirus is a virus. Just repeat that. An S protein attached to nothing, attached to an empty protein shell, plasma membrane, is a virus. That's a fact. Okay, according to all the scientific studies, more than one. So, and this is exactly what it says here. Exactly what it says here. In particular, an IBV S protein, which, when used to produce a virus, that's the virus. The virus is the S protein. That's what I've been saying over and over again for weeks. That's it. That's what we're up against here. An S protein that causes these illness. And how do you make the S protein? How do you make the S protein contagious in a vaccine? In other words, how do you make a vaccine a bioweapon? You add graphene, because graphene causes shedding of mammalian plasma cell membranes, according to the scientific papers. It makes it a bioweapon. It makes you exfoliate and breathe out S proteins, spike proteins attached to nasty, horrible bits of plasma cell membrane, and that's what makes you ill. Apart from the actual graphene inhaled directly, which of course makes you ill, and wherever else it is in food and everything else, and all the poisons. But that's what they've discovered. So they've discovered what a virus really is, and it's an S protein. And they've discovered how to make S proteins a bioweapon, how to make them contagious in a vaccine, and that's graphene. Bingo. That's it. They're busted. I'll just explain to you what they're doing. Okay, so here it is anyway. So, like I say, this is all about creating a coronavirus vaccine, a coronavirus with a S spike protein, another S spike protein, exactly what we've got, so they can make a vaccine that's cheap and effective to make money. Right, here's a nice little summary at the end. Nice little summary for us at the end. An infectious bronchitis virus. Spike protein, S protein. So, infectious bronchitis. I used to have a lot of bronchitis when I was a child, and I'm sure it was caused by being around heavy smokers. But anyway, they're calling it an infectious bronchitis virus. Spike protein, S protein, wherein the sequence of the S2 domain and the S protein has at least 98% sequence identity to the S2 domain of the S protein from an RBB strain, with restricted tissue tropism as a whole, but ignoring amino acid positions. So it's pretty much the same. The only thing they're doing here is just manipulating the S2 domain of the S protein, because that's what it's all about, with reference to the position. Basically. Okay, so just to be clear, this is actually a patent for a bioweapon. That's all. It's just a, however you want to sort of dress it up, put makeup on it or whatever, but it's basically a bioweapon. Yeah, Pirbright Institute. Now, Pirbright Institute. Okay, yeah, and this as well. Journal of Nanobio. Exosome origin determines cell targeting and transfer of therapeutic nanoparticles to... Okay, so, listen to this. Exosomes are considered key elements of communication. But remember, exosomes are... If you look at an exosome, you're looking at a little package with protein coronas around it. Because protein coronas surround everything to protect the cell. Okay, so it looks basically an exosome is a virus. Exosomes are, or what they call viruses, except magically the internal elements of a virus are really bad and evil and nasty, but the internal elements of an exosome are nice and friendly. It's just communicating with the cells. Exosomes are considered key elements for communication between cells, but very little is known about the mechanisms and selectivity of the... Yeah, very little is known. Yeah, this is Roman Catholic superstition, trying to make a virus out of these things. Very little is known. In fact, exosomes were only discovered in 1980, and it turns out they're basically what we've been calling viruses. And what we're calling viruses are actually spike proteins, and that's it. Proteins. It's proteins and poisons. There are no viruses. Yeah, I've never seen a vaccine. I mean, I've never seen a patent that is concerned about... it's just... But think about it. It's a patent that is concerned that you can't make a decent... vaccine that's affordable. You can't make an affordable vaccine for a coronavirus. So what we need to do is we need to change coronaviruses so you can make cheap vaccines for them. And basically that's what they've done. That's what the patent is saying it's trying to do. It's gain of function so they can... Oh, God. It's just mind-blowing. It's right there. I mean, it's basically... I'll have a read of it yourself and you'll easily be able to discern that that's what it's saying. So, yeah, there's lots of commentary on it. Pirbright is connected to the Rothschilds, of course. We've got another link here with the Rothschild patent. And the Pilgrim Society, who apparently want a one-world government. And are not exactly pilgrims, unless they're pilgrims to Lucifer. British Serco manages the patent approval process at the US Patent Office. So this is all connected to, allegedly to the CIA and the Crown. The CIA and the Crown. Yeah. I'll put the links below so you can have a look yourself. Coronavirus and the Rothschild bombshell. Coronavirus uncovers Rothschild Lord Pirbright as key to the 140-year Pilgrim Society monopoly over world culture, commerce and war. The British Crown and the CIA teamed up treasonously. Yeah, it's all about one world government apparently, and as always with these power crazy people. So look at Pirbright Institute. What do you see there? Grapheno. Yeah, they've got graphene, the graphene symbol up there, and even above the eye, the hexagon. And oh, what are they going on about here? Oh, Luciferese. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it's all there. 666, 666. Okay, so these are the evil ones, and Annie Logical has done some amazing work. I mean, this is just her research is always amazing. You know, absolutely brilliant. The virus is owned by Pirbright Institute, formerly the Institute for Animal Health, which is partially owned by the Gates Foundation. Oh, right. And They are using the techniques they have developed to examine the neutralizing antibody responses generated by candidate vaccines in research supported by Innovate UK, who are also the same agency who fund and support 5G in the UK. So here we have this link again between the vaccine and 5G, and they working together. Innovate UK pushing the 5G agenda, and the guy from Pirbright was involved in Ebola, and yeah, it's disgusting.
Introducing a powerful dietary supplement, over 1 million years in development. A highly concentrated, complex natural formula, rich in trace minerals as well as fulvic and humic acids. Mother Nature's ancient elixir for energy, revitalization, and long life. Shiljit Mumio means conqueror of mountains, destroyer of weakness. Take in the nutritional wisdom of the ancient past. Unleash the vibrant, healthy being inside. Become the conqueror.